Hey everyone, today we're diving into a toolkit that's pretty special, especially for educators. We're talking about how to teach kids those really big abstract ideas, things like patience, honesty, resilience. It's a really creative way to look at character education. So let's get right into it. So here's the big question, right? It's a challenge I think every single teacher and parent faces. You want to teach good values, but just telling a 7-year-old, hey, be patient, well, it doesn't always work. So how do you make these concepts actually stick? How do you get past the rules and into real, genuine understanding? Well, here is a fantastic answer. This is the Everyday Superpowers book series, written by Preethi Balasubramanian. And these aren't just any stories. They're specifically designed to tackle that exact challenge head-on by turning everyday moments into a training ground for what we call social and emotional skills. And hey, don't just take my word for it. It's getting some amazing feedback. New in Books calls it a heartwarming, humor-filled chapter book that turns everyday challenges into inspiring lessons. And you know, that mix of humor and heart, that's the magic sauce for making these lessons connect with young kids. Okay, here's the core idea, and honestly, it's brilliant. Instead of just giving kids a list of do's and don'ts, this series completely reframes these values. It turns them into exciting, aspirational superpowers, real abilities that kids can actually build and get stronger at. This is just so smart because it taps right into that love of heroes and imagination that kids already have. Suddenly, building character isn't a chore, it's an exciting adventure. So let's see exactly how this works. We're going to look at our first case study from the book Aria's Patience Project. And as you might guess, it's all about the superpower of patience. We meet Aria in a moment that I think we can all recognize. She's just gotten home from school, she is starving, and her grandmother, her Pati, is making these amazing smelling dosas. The problem, they're not ready yet, and for Aria, waiting feels like torture. She just cannot stand to wait another second. She sees the dosa sizzling on the pan and thinks, you know what, I can speed this up. So in a burst of pure impatience, she grabs the spatula to flip it herself before her Pati can even react. And of course, splat. It ends in the dosa disaster. It's this perfect, immediate, kind of sticky consequence of her not being able to wait. See, the story doesn't lecture her. It just shows the totally natural result of rushing something that needs time. And her party's response? It's not a scolding, it's just a simple, gentle observation that contains the whole lesson. You tried to hurry something that wasn't ready. That one sentence becomes the anchor for Aria's whole journey to understanding what patience really is. Now, this is where the story gives kids a really practical tool. Her Papati gives her a notebook for her patience project. It becomes this tangible thing, like a superpower journal, where Aria can write down her experiences and turn those frustrating moments of waiting into real opportunities to learn and grow. Okay, let's switch gears and see how this superpower idea works with another huge value. The next book, Rishi and the Truth Teller Club, tackles honesty. But it frames it in a really interesting way. Not as something you do because you're scared of getting in trouble, but as a form of quiet bravery. So here's the scene. Rishi and his friend Mira are putting the finishing touches on a class project. It's almost perfect. And then, splash! Rishi accidentally knocks over the blue paint, leaving this big streak right across the corner. It's such a simple, relatable kid mistake. Rishi's fix is quick, and it's pretty clever. He just grabs a green leaf sticker and pops it right over the blue smudge. From the outside, the poster looks perfect again. Problem solved, right? And this is the crucial part. The story immediately pivots from the outside problem to the inside one. Yeah, the poster looks fine, but Rishi feels that telltale tightness in his chest, that knot he can't undo. It's such a powerful way to show kids that being dishonest has an emotional cost, even if nobody ever finds out. So out of this whole sticky situation, something really cool is born. The Truth Teller Club. Rishi and his friend decide to create this club that's all about telling the truth, especially when it's hard. And just like that, honesty goes from being this lonely, scary thing to a courageous act you do with your friends. So you're probably thinking, this is great, but how do I actually bring this into my classroom? Well, these stories are the perfect launchpad for some fantastic discussions. Here are a few quick starters you can use right away. Let's look at these. The first two are great because they help students connect what happened to Aria and Rishi to their own lives. But I really love that third question. It gets them thinking creatively, imagining other virtues like kindness or courage or even forgiveness as their very own superpowers they can build. Now, what gives these stories so much depth is that they aren't just made up out of thin air.
The author has woven in this timeless wisdom from her own South Indian heritage, making these really ancient ideas totally accessible for kids today. Specifically, she draws from the Thirukural. This is a classic text more than 2,000 years old, and it's made up of these short, powerful little verses that offer profound wisdom on how to live a good and ethical life.
And check out how beautifully this translation works. For example, an ancient verse says, "Truth protects both the speaker and the listener." In Rishi's story, that idea is distilled into something a kid can grab onto. Honesty creates safety and trust for everyone. It's just a wonderful way to connect children to this deep, universal wisdom that has been around for centuries.
So, when you put this all together, what does it mean for you as an educator? Well, it positions you as something more than just a teacher. It makes you an architect of character. I think the biggest takeaway is this idea of reframing. By using stories like these, you can help kids see that these virtues aren't about just being good all the time. They're about building this inner, quiet but powerful strength that they can count on when things get tricky. At the end of the day, these books are so much more than just good stories. They're expertly designed narrative tools. They give you the language, the scenarios, and the starting point you need to build those crucial social and emotional skills in a way that's fun, engaging, and genuinely inspiring for your students. You know, these stories really do provide the blueprints and the tools. So the real question becomes, how will you help your students become the architects of their own character?